Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? I can't tell you how happy I am to be doing a history show. Yay, not an LNC drama show. And since my earlier stream earlier tonight, I did hit my February Patreon goal. Thank you very much to the generous patron who upped their monthly level. So I've met my February goal. Thank you. Thank you so very much. It is very much appreciated, particularly since this time, once again, of me trying to find the ideal job. Just a little bit of grifting before we begin. Remember, all super chats matter, and all super chats go to support my reinstatement, re-election, vindication, whatever you call it, campaign for LNC secretary. I will be at the Tennessee convention this weekend, funded by donations such as yours. So if you're going to be there, I would love to see you. As always, these shows are participatory. Please do comment. It does show up on my screen, particularly if you do it in YouTube. For some reason, not all Facebook comments come through. So if you're watching on Facebook, if you could head over to the YouTube channel, A, it helps my metrics, but B, it assigns names to the comments. Like Facebook's API just gets all jacked up with these third-party programs in multi-streaming. One last announcement before we get into continuing with the history for March-April 1974. I said earlier, we finished Radicals for Capitalism, so patrons only. We're starting The Problem of Political Authority. I am so excited over this. I don't know why, I just am. I think it's the subtitle that's got me so jazzed up. An examination of the right to coerce and the duty to obey. I mean, that's just red meat to a libertarian, isn't it? And as I was going through my pile of stuff here in my studio, I remembered I still do need to finish doing the Liberty Solution. This wasn't patron only. This was something I did on this station. I might even record another chapter later tonight. We're almost finished. This book, if you haven't watched any of the prior episodes on it, this is the book that I'm recommending right now as a great intro book to give to your liberty curious friends. So adult friends that may have questions, I'm highly recommending this book. He is not a sponsor of the show. He sent me the book for free just to take a look at it, but I love it so much that I have been giving it a lot of airtime. I will do a lot more on this book. So it is The Liberty Solution by Derek Wills, but you could help me out by, if you decide you'd like to purchase it, using my Amazon affiliate link that is in the YouTube description, and it doesn't cost you anything extra, and I make a couple cents. So truly, truly appreciate it. All right, we're going to get right to the history. And hello, Brian. Brian says, I haven't been around for one of these shows in a long time. Life has been busy. I get it. You know, tonight is going to be one of those late nights for me. I'm flying out to Tennessee tomorrow evening. We're supposed to get 12 inches of snow in Castle Rock tonight. Fortunately, not at the airport. Airport's way out east, for those of you who aren't familiar with Colorado that much. But here in Castle Rock, starting in about an hour, we're supposed to get a foot of snow. That's why I'm all bundled up here right now. And I think that was it. So it's going to be a late night. I'm recording my Saturday radio show tonight, going to be talking about the Ukraine, the RNC, and the Commission on Presidential Debates, and inflation. Fun. More red meat for the libertarians. I apparently was really provoking some libertarians on Twitter. And I don't play that game. You don't have to be libertarian on every single position. In fact, I'm going to do a show on this again because I haven't said this in a while. I have this position, and when I first say it, people think I'm just doing the typical, at first, libertarian macho flashing where I say nobody is a libertarian. And I mean that. But what I mean by that is that people are much more than walking bundles of ideology. I don't think people are libertarians. I think certain ideas are libertarian or not. And if one person holds enough of a bundle of those types of ideas, you can call them a political libertarian, but I don't like putting human beings in those boxes. So somebody could hold a libertarian position on one idea and not on another. And I think dealing with ideas rather than saying a person isn't libertarian is a much more productive way to discuss these issues. So let's move on to the history, shall we? I've been doing a lot of Elpedia work, by the way. If you go to recent changes on Elpedia, you'll see I've put in about 12 hours into Elpedia in the past couple days because I'd gotten really behind with my travels. But here we go. All right, so today we're going to be doing the Spotlight on State Parties, which is pages 2 and 3 of if we go back a page here, this LP News. So it's LP News, March, April, 1974, issue 19. We are on the second of this. That's why it's episode 19A. All right. So let's take a look at the Spotlight on State Parties. And you guys are awful quiet tonight. Thank you, Ryan, for commenting and making it so that I'm not just sitting in my basement like a lonely person talking to myself. Alrighty. And I've been trying to keep these history shows to around a half hour, 45 minutes, rather than my much longer programs. All right. Alaska LP now has 29 members. If every state had as many members per capita, we'd have about 30,000 nationwide. Yeah, Alaska's always had a lot per capita. Their state convention, so this is the 74 convention, will be held March 29th through 31st, and Tony Nathan will be the keynote speaker. And for those of you who are curious, I do extract out all of these dates and information into separate Elpedia articles. So as we're going through this history, we're also extracting out and preserving little bits. So now we know when the 1974 Alaska Convention was. Probably didn't know that before. The Arizona LP had its convention February 24th. Ben Davis of the Liberty Amendment Committee was a featured speaker. The Arizona LP also sponsored Dr. Anthony Sutton as a speaker at Phoenix College on February 28th. State Chairman Ken Lefebvre was featured in a write-up on libertarianism in the University of Arizona paper, The Daily Wildcat, and the Arizona Republic, the largest circulation paper in the state, will have a major feature on the ALP in its Sunday supplement, Arizona Magazine, in April. And part of your patronage of this show helps pay for a newspapers.com subscription. So we will look and see if for a bonus episode we can find these write-ups. We found a lot of great things through newspapers.com. California LP held its convention February 16th through 18th with about 150 members participating. And wow, that's big for 1974. Total membership is about 600. A full slate of candidates for public office was chosen. It says see candidates, next page. Okay, yeah, there is. In a future episode, we'll talk about these candidates. Santa Clara County LP sponsored a talk by Murray Rothbard, which drew a crowd of over 250, and the San Diego LP demonstrated against the postal monopoly on March 2nd. The day postal rates went up. I wonder what they went up to back then. Boy, are they high now. State Vice Chairman Ed Crane delivered an editorial against socialized medicine on KNBC TV recently. John Hospers is one of the lecturers in a new course on liberty, property, and contemporary social programs being offered by the University of California. All right, the Colorado LP, woo woo, in addition to supporting the candidacy of John James for Congress, will be supporting a petition to abolish victimless crime laws in Colorado. I'm going to look at newspapers.com for this, but I bet you there's some articles on this petition. Connecticut LP chairperson Fran Moore and Bob Moore spoke on WDRC radio in Hartford for 30 minutes, January 13th, and received an enthusiastic response. Unfortunately, so many of these radio programs are lost to history, but I do search for them on YouTube because sometimes you never know what you can find. The Florida LP continues to grow and now has its own newsletter. Chairman Charles Breeden has spoken on radio stations several times in the past few months. Ooh, another typo. There's been a lot of typos in this issue. Hawaii LP also has a new chairman, Jerry Dixon, who has been on the air many times in recent weeks. He's setting up a regular 5-minute editorial commentary program called Libertarian Commentary, which will be aired on KHVH radio Monday nights. The state party has been active lately, rallying opposition to gas rationing and building support for a massive tax protest movement. Press coverage on these activities has been extensive, so I'll look that up as well. And what's funny is not very many libertarians have, I mean, you can see it was always mentioned in LP News, a regular radio program on traditional radio. The fact that the National LP has been silent, that I have one, just goes to show that this is all personal and it's not about liberty, is it? LNC. Okay, Illinois LP's Georgia Shields participated in a talk show on WBBM TV January 19th. LPI is in the process of setting up a telephone communications network for rapid roundup of members to attend public meetings on short notice. What a great idea. I've always think we've needed like an agitprop committee to just, get activists on the ground like quickly. Wouldn't that be great nationally? I think I'm going to propose that to Angela McArdle. Paul Stout, Bernie Summer, and State Chairman Steve Nelson have been active in a drive to prevent the creation of a tax-supported regional transportation authority, which would raise taxes on all for the benefit of a few, which is always the case with public transportation, except when you're dealing with very densely populated cities, like Denver. I mean, a lot of people use public transportation in Denver because it's an old city and the roads just... they were made for horse and carriage. Kentucky LP regretfully reports the departure of its chairperson, Susan Brown, who has moved to California to work for the Campus Studies Institute. Susan received an extensive write-up in the Louisville Times before she left in connection with the LPK-sponsored Free Woman Seminar. Paul Siegler is now acting chairman again. I will look that up on newspapers.com. It seems like we're going to have a lot of bonus content. Louisiana LP held its convention January 19th through 20th and elected Creighton Sparky Hall as its new chairman. Former state chairman Jerry Millett was nominated to run for Congress in the 7th District, and Jeff Dale, and I believe I know him, was chosen to run for Commissioner of Public Safety in Shreveport. The Maryland LP is pushing at the 100-member mark and is concentrating on tax protest activities. MLP is working closely with the Liberty Amendment Committee in support of the LA resolution currently before the legislature, and LA short for Liberty Amendment, not Los Angeles in this context. MLP's newsletter Toward Liberty, which we have some issues of, is one of the best state LP publications in the country. This has been said multiple times in LP News, so that must have been a very impressive newsletter for the time. The Minnesota LP recently held a gold investment symposium featuring several top authorities in the field. LP National ExCom member Bob Meyer of Illinois was the moderator. I don't think we knew this name before, that he was on the LNC at that time. We'll get that extracted into LPedia. LPM has some of the best looking graphic materials we've seen, including a very impressive looking newsletter called The Reasonable Answer. And I haven't heard of this. And by the way, you keep hearing me talk a lot about extracting things into LPedia. If you want to be a historical committee volunteer, get in touch. I could put every single person in this party to work. So if you're looking for an opportunity to volunteer on your own time, you could do it, at 2 a.m, you could do it in your underwear. Please just get in touch. I have a Twitch comment that says Hard R Libertarian. I don't know what Hard R Libertarian is. No idea what that means. A Libertarian Party Libertarian. And Ryan, that's what's great about volunteering. Ryan says, I got halfway through that box you sent me before I got busy. Do it at your own pace. Any volunteering, I'm grateful for. This is what's very flexible about volunteering for the historical committee. You know, you can take your time, you know, and you do it on your own schedule. Okay, so the Twitch commenter said, like, full on gun rights abolishing social. Yes. Yes, I am an anarchist libertarian. I do not believe in any gun laws, and yes, I want to abolish the state. But yes, I am a Libertarian Party libertarian. We do want to abolish Social Security, the IRS, and all the rest of the alphabet soup. So, yes, hardcore libertarian. Alrighty. New Hampshire LP Vice Chairman Art Ketchen is one of the plaintiffs in a suit filed by Andrew Malinkiski of Connecticut against Nixon, the Senate, the House, and 6 major oil companies. The suit charges the defendants with conspiring to fix oil prices and extort the American people through controls. And then there's an address to send contributions, obviously, back then. Well, Real Politic Proponent says he agrees with 1/3 of that. So you're 1/3 right. You're almost there. I'll take it. I'll take the 1/3. If we can agree on 1/3, that's wonderful. New Jersey LP selected Jerry Totemis as its new chairman at their state convention February 9th and is moving into high gear on Bob Steiner's congressional campaign. Bob is being supported by the NJ Taxpayers Association and by the former chairman of the now-defunct New Jersey Conservative Party. And Real Politic Proponent says what he agrees with is the gun rights part. Awesome. That is fantastic. I don't know, you know, I've been so enmeshed in libertarian circles for so long that I just do not understand how people do not support the right to self-defense. The minute the government can restrict it, you're just at the mercy of the government. And we should be seeing all over the world, and with what happened with the COVID regime, how that's not a good idea to be at the mercy of the government. And I'm a pacifist. I personally am a pacifist, but I'm a hardcore gun rights, personal self-defense proponent, even though I personally have eschewed my own personal right to lethal self-defense. I would defend yours any day of the week and twice on Sunday. And speaking of Twitch, I think that's where I'm going to do the platform committee update, because my Twitch channel is tiny. It's not monetized, so I won't get all the criticisms from the libertarian critterati, because I do want to do a platform committee update. All right, New York's Free Libertarian Party will hold its annual convention March 29th through 31st. Roger Lee McBride will be the keynote speaker. The FLP is planning to run someone for governor and hopes to get the 50,000 votes necessary to become New York State's 5th permanent party. And this would give FLP candidates automatic ballot listing in the future. Yeah, Ryan Brown, it's so funny. And now I have to be so paranoid about it. It's like, yeah, it's bad. But I figure Twitch is probably a good place to do it anyway. There's a lot of interaction on Twitch. So I've got to go look at the native Twitch app, figure it out, and then we'll probably do a maybe even this weekend, a platform committee update. All right, we are on to the next page, and we are almost done for this evening. But we'll talk about what's coming up. So the North Carolina LP is in the process of forming. Yay. Temporary chairman is Douglas Lerner of Charlotte, with G. Randall Davis of Saxapahaw. That's a name. As temporary co-chair. The Pennsylvania LP has formed a chapter in Pittsburgh and is in the process of setting up campus organizations at Bucknell and Edinburgh. Spokesman Byron Fink gave a 1-minute message on victimless crimes, which was telecast 3 times on KYW-TV Philadelphia, January 22nd. Wow, there's a lot of news, isn't there? And congratulations on the newly formed North Carolina Historical Committee. I hope you get lots of great stuff up on Elpedia. Texas LP continues to prepare for the LP National Convention in Dallas this June. Of course, they did not know this at this time, but this is the road to the Dallas Accord, which changed the face of the party and my obsessions. Meanwhile, the Harris County, and we were just talking with some Harris County representatives on Twitter recently. Houston has been active in helping with a petition to legalize off-track betting, and also held a rally protesting censorship of the movie Deep Throat. Deep Throat was playing way back then. Is Deep Throat still playing all over the place nowadays? That's what I want to know. There's none of those little like adult bookstores around here. Castle Rock is such a conservative community. Like, I remember though, when I lived in Pompano Beach, Florida, there was just this tiny, gross little adult bookstore, and its little mini cinema always had that playing. Veteran libertarian Mike Holmes, and I know Mike Holmes. Hey, Mike, if you're ever watching this show, debated a member of the Young Socialist Alliance before a crowd of 120 plus at the University of Texas in Austin, February. Audience response was enthusiastic. Utah LP Chairman George Chapman appeared for 1 hour on KBYU TV February 20th as part of a program on the relationship between government and business. George. George pointed out that government control of business is simply coercion by a criminal element which destroys freedom and harms the economy. Amen. ULP is currently in the process of gathering 500 petition signatures to gain ballot status. Second to last. Virginia LP will hold its first annual state, I think they meant to say convention, in Richmond on March 16th. New officers will be elected. The LP now has a newsletter, the Virginia Libertarian, edited by Eric Scott Royce of the Royce Report fame. Scott has announced that he intends to seek re-election as a regional XCOM member in Dallas. Last, Wisconsin LP is forming groups in Milwaukee and Madison and is establishing an information center to facilitate replies to collectivist-oriented editorials. A number of new members have been recruited via ads in an quote-unquote underground newspaper. I wonder what that was. All right, so boy, that was quite a 1974 State Party roundup. What we will be covering next time, we will do these news of LP candidates, and I think I'm going to look for some of these newspaper articles that were mentioned in this page here, and so we're not separating out too far in time talking about these things. But let's see what else is coming up. So we've got news of LP candidates, an editorial to go over, IRS, some convention stuff. Man, there's a lot this issue. The political perspective, books and brief, and always ends with bits and pieces. So we've still got quite a bit to cover for this particular focus, but of course I do these in separate episodes, so we're not here forever, and I've been trying to keep these little time capsule ones shorter. So, I know not everyone has the attention span for my 3-hour expositions on what's going on in whatever state party. We will probably be talking about Massachusetts again soon, but I would like to just chill out and relax and just focus on history for a while. All right, everyone, I am going to go upstairs and eat some dinner. And thank you, Ryan Brown. And I hope you all have an awesome night. And I'll keep you updated from the Libertarian Party of Tennessee convention. And we may have another show tonight. And Fidalgo File says, more Delaware. We may have another episode tonight with a chapter from the Liberty Solution. Depends on how productive I am after I eat. Little personal note, a side effect of autism is having a lot of gut issues. So sometimes after I eat, I'm just in terrible pain. It's really, really bad. And Ryan Brown says, speaking of Delaware, I'm going to give you a minute to say what, speaking of Delaware, if you have something to let me know. It says, give them money and get my beautiful drawing. Well, everybody should be donating to the Libertarian Party of Delaware. They, if you can, they are starting from nothing because, you know, Will McVeigh and his, merry band of usurpers, I think, ran off with the treasury. All right, everyone, that will be it for this evening. I hope you have an awesome night, and I will talk at you soon. Mi guapas de libertad.
What you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a